In a game that's probably not going to be entertaining here, real quick, we got the Jets versus the Dolphins, a toilet bowl game. They're both 0-3. They both haven't won, so somebody got to get on the winning record here. The Dolphins are favored by 2.5 points. Over unders 44.5. It's the battle of the bums, baby. Miami covered actually against Buffalo, but they still lost by 10 points. But hey, they covered. Look at let's do this one short. Miami, we all know they have weapons. They have A-Chain, Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Warren at tight end. Okay, they have guys everywhere. Okay, but it's their defense. It's putrid. It's awful. It's just there's nothing to say about it. And like they have a couple of names too, but I don't know what. Maybe they're the scheme that don't work in, or maybe they just gave up on the team already. Their defense has allowed 97 points. That is one of the worst marks. I think it's tied with the Ravens, one of the worst marks you could have in football. Uh, every single team has put 30 points or more against them. So it's just like galore. You could score them at will. You could put us that there. We probably get points out of it. And they have no turnovers. The defense has caused no turnovers. So they are not the point the turnover differential is not in their favor by a mile. So let's talk about the Jets. And they're not impressing nobody here either. They almost went against the Bucks. They cover for me, so I love that. But they were in it at least. You can say, okay, they put up a puncher's chance. They came back in the fourth quarter. They scored 21 points, almost won the game outright. Uh, you know, Tyrod Taylor, not too terrible, not good either. Was it Fields is questionable for this game. I think he was limited in practice, but he's still in concussion protocol. So keep an eye out for that. Um, their wide receiver room is god awful, man. It's Garrett Wilson or nothing. Lazard, awful. I can't even name the other guys. I think the other guy's name is Tyler. It is awful. It is Garrett Wilson or nothing. Garrett Wilson is other than Garrett Wilson, only one other wide receiver has over 50 yards receiving, and it's this guy named Tyler. So only one wide receiver has over 50 yards besides Wilson. So that is god awful. So, what are you going to do here? Like, I know they don't really have the best quarterbacks to get the ball to them, but that is that's just awful. So, and by the way, this is Monday Night Football. I forgot to mention that it's 2 Monday Night Football games for some reason. Again, but dude, what do you say? What do you think about this matchup, and who do you got?
I can never bet on the Dolphins. You just never know how they're going to show up. Like, they have offensive weapons and they can put up points, but they can also get blown out by 40. And the Jets have hung in there with good teams, so I'm taking the Jets, but reluctantly.
Yeah, this is tough, man. I like the I they no, this is tough. Yeah, I like the running backs. They could keep it close there. Tyrod Taylor had 3 touchdowns, only 1 interceptions. He was efficient. Wasn't terrible. But I got to go with the Dolphins. I just had to go with the Dolphins strictly on the weapons. I'm with you there. Even though they have no weapons, they're so inconsistent. Some guys, I feel like they do give up if they're not getting the ball. Like they have big egos over there. But I gotta think it's divisional. It's in Miami as well, where they play the best. They really don't play good at home away. So I'm gonna say that maybe that Heat gets the Jets, baby. Maybe that Miami Heat gets them. I'm not confident pick, but I'm gonna take the weapons, which they're better weapons than the Jets. But their coaching, all that's not so great. But strictly taking this in the weapons, give me the Dolphins to cover the 2.5 points, and then let's go to a game that another big number with the Bengals versus the Denver Broncos. This is the last Monday Night Football game. Denver's favored by 7.5. Over unders 44.5 points. Bengals embarrassed. Browning looks like naming a starting quarterback with that two games back to back, turning the ball over like crazy. The run game, you think they'd be more reliable? They could rely on it since Joe Burrow's out. No, the running game looks god awful. Chase Brown does not look like that guy. And I know a lot of people probably picked him the first 3 or 4 rounds in the fantasy football. He doesn't even have over 100 yards rushing in 3 games. He has only 93 yards on 47 carries. That is putrid. Very, very god awful. Maybe the worst average yard per carry in the NFL. So not looking good whatsoever. Oh yeah, he's averaging 2 yards a carry, dude. That is terrible. 2 yards a carry he's averaging, not good. Um, the defense has been below average. Miles Murphy has been a disappointment. They drafted him in the first round or second round like a couple years ago. Their first round from last year's Stewart is questionable. It looks like he's doubtful for this game. So it's just Hendrickson. So their defense is not really great either. You know, there's nothing where they have all the weapons in the world. And offensively, Jamar Chase, arguably the best wide receiver, Higgins, but they have the running back room and their offensive line is below average. Let me just jump on the Broncos here real quick. Bo Nix lost on a tight race to the Chargers. You know, he looks better though. He's getting better and better as the season gets getting better. Um, you know, Bo Nix has his completion rate of 64%. I thought it was less than that, but that's actually a pretty good number. You know, but what's up with their defense? Their defense is one thing they could put their hat on. You had the defensive player of the year. Their defense has led over 50 points being scored on them in the last two games. So 50 points has been scored on them in the last two games. They only have they don't have that many sacks. Um, they have you know, so I don't know. I just want to see more from the defense. That's what I'm trying to say. They have all these names on them. They went to go trade. They signed a lot of guys from the 49ers who left them to go to their team, but their defense is not looking up to that vaulted defense. Their offensive line is actually doing pretty good. They've only given up 3 sacks so far this season, so that's good to see. Um, but they're also not very good at converting third downs. They're only converting 32% of their third downs on offense. So, dude, what it comes down to this game is this: do you trust the Denver's offense to do more than it's have done in the last previous 30 games on a Bengals defense that you can't trust on each side because you can't really trust the Denver's defense. So I think this solely has to be, can the Denver's offense come out and cover this big number, that's 7.5 points? And are you banking the Denver's defense step up in this game?
Well, do you want me to go first, or do you want to pick? I think that the Broncos defense is going to have a bounce back game. The last two games they did put up points, but it was against the Chargers and the Colts. And the Bengals got the doors blown off last week by the Vikings defense. So I think the Broncos defense can put up a performance similar to the Vikings, have some defensive touchdowns, and pound the ball. And I'm pretty confident that they'll cover this one.
Well, it looks like we're agreeing again, buddy. We are agreeing again.
We're
I
gonna
just
be
can't get.
rich.
Dude, I cannot get about Browning. That guy looks like a deer in the headlights throwing out there. He's like just okay, you take it. And then it was like, what is the guy doing, man? You know what? It is a big number on a, and I agree with you. I think the defense, they stepped up against the Chargers. They almost had the game, and Herbert is miles ahead, both better than both these quarterbacks. So I'm with you, man. Give me the Denver Broncos to cover the 7.5. Give us both the Denver Broncos to cover the 7.5 on a double header that is Monday Night Football.